Hi guys, Luke here and welcome to another FIFA 21 Prime Icon Moments player review. And today guys, going to be reviewing the 93 rated Alessandro Nesta, of course the legend for Milan and also for Lazio as well. Basically just in general an Italian and Serie A legend. And I did buy this card the other day, I believe for like 850k, or was it more than that? It was 925k. I sold him and lost about 80,000 coins, which is just fantastic. But this card has actually gone even further down since then. So, and obviously with my division rival rewards today, I ended up not really losing anything on this card, I suppose, which isn't too bad. But yeah, Alessandro Nesta, I ended up playing 4 games with him, 0 goals scored and 0 assists. He does have 2-star skill moves as well as 3-star weak thoughts. Has some really cool in-game stats, the likes of his 83 short passing, 90 reactions, 97 in both defensive awareness and in stand tackle. I did also have the catalyst chemist that apply to him. He has the player traits of power header and team player and an icon profile. This talks about him clinching along with Milan their 18th Serie A League title, and they kept a draw against Roma on that day. A very good defensive performance from Nesta to secure another title back then for AC Milan. And listen, I'll be honest with this card, I prefer Puyol Moments card. I prefer Prime Icon Moment Hero. Remember when he was available as an SBC, I absolutely loved that card. And also, I think cards at the 87 Baby Desailly, I think that the Laurent Blanc card that you can get from Icon Shops are probably better than this Nesta card. This Nesta card was simply too expensive. Even now, he's just under like 800,000 coins on Xbox. Too expensive, and obviously cards like him, and some of the lower tier Prime Icon Moments cards will go down in value. But there were parts that were good to him, but at the same time, you can go and buy like a card for 200. You could go and buy Varane, and he'll be just as good, if not maybe even slightly better than Nesta. To be quite honest, in game, and obviously Varane isn't as cool as a Moments Nesta card. Nesta with the dynamic image, but will literally play just as well in game. So I thought that his tackling in all fairness was actually really good. In the 97 in defensive awareness and in stand tackle, 98 slide tackle, 95 interceptions as well. That part was good to him. But the thing is, when you're sitting there and we're talking about spending 800,000 coins, 900,000 coins, even like 1 million coins on a defender, and of course he does get the benefits of being able to link to him. But when you're sitting there spending that amount of coins, they can't just be good at their defensive duties. They've got to offer a little bit more than that. They've got to be extremely quick. They've got to have good passing. And whilst this cards in this passing and all fairness was decent, 83 short passing and 73 long passing. He can play the ball relatively well out of the defensive area. He just doesn't offer quite as much for me to see value for money in this card. I thought his physicality as well was good. 93 strength, 88 aggression. He can bully players off the ball. He can stand his own ground very well, of course, as a centre back. He has a good presence on the pitch. But for me, he lacked in his pace. 75 acceleration and 73 sprint speed. Even having the catalyst chemist that applied to him, he still felt too slow. He's really slow to turn on the ball as well. Another thing that if you're sitting there and you're going to be spending well into the hundreds of thousands for defenders like this, you can't be using a defender with 42 agility and 53 balance. They're too slow on the ball. And obviously, you don't expect a defender to feel as smooth as like a striker on the ball, but you need them to feel quick to be able to turn on the ball. You don't want a defender that's going to be slow on the ball, being able to turn around. That's never a good thing to have. And unfortunately, that is the case with this card. He's too slow. He's too clunky. He lacks in pace. He can get outpaced. If you're coming up against like a CR7 and like a Ben Yedder or an Mbappe, he struggles. He really does, and that just isn't good enough for a card that of course physicality wise and defensive wise is good, but it's no good if he can't keep up with them. It simply isn't. So in that respect, and probably out of all the Prime Icon Moments cards I reviewed so far, he probably is the worst. I think it's a card that unfortunately was a fantastic player back in his day, but he's one of those cards like Xavi, Pirlo and stuff like that who EA just simply can't make good in this game, and it's really sad, but he's just one of those cards that just simply doesn't represent great value for money. Of course, some of his defensive areas are really good, but in the fact that he feels too slow and he lacks in pace, I've said this before, yes, he's an okay card defensive wise, but if you're sitting there and you're going to be paying hundreds of thousands of coins, you want him to be better than just his defensive duties, because otherwise, what's the point in buying him? As I said before, you might as well just go out and buy like a Varane card who will play just as well in game. So you know, hopefully you can kind of understand where I'm trying to go with it, you know, with that. But yeah, on the whole, a card that is just simply still way too overpriced, even at like 800,000 coins on Xbox. And basically, you know, it's a card that I just kind of forget about, you know, if I'm totally honest with you guys. But anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed this player review, and I'll see you guys later.